Today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind why some of us just absolutely cannot stand small talk. Seriously, if you've ever felt totally drained by polite chatter about the weather, this one is for you. Let me ask you this. Do you ever feel completely exhausted after just like 5 minutes of chit-chat? But you could literally talk until 3 in the morning about the universe or the meaning of life? If you're nodding your head right now, then this whole explainer is about to make so much sense.
You know, what's really fascinating here is the disconnect between how society labels this and what's actually going on in your brain. People might call you antisocial or awkward, maybe even difficult. But the psychological reality, it's something else entirely. We're not talking about a social flaw here. We're talking about being wired for depth, seeking real connection, and craving genuine meaning.
Okay, so let's start by just validating this feeling. Because if you struggle with small talk, you are definitely not alone. And there's a really good reason why it feels so draining.
I mean, this scenario right here, it just says it all, doesn't it? It's not that you can't talk or that you don't want to connect with people. It's that the kind of conversation is what matters. That surface level stuff, it feels like a mental barrier, like a total waste of your cognitive energy. So, let's be super clear. This isn't a case of being awkward or somehow bad at socializing. The reality is, it's about having a fundamentally different kind of cognitive wiring. And check out this quote. It really hits the nail on the head. The source material makes it totally clear this preference is a direct reflection of how your brain is literally built to process the world. You're not trying to be stuck up. You're just hardwired to look for something more substantial.
So how do you know for sure if this is you? Well, we're going to break down 5 key psychological signs that you are, in fact, wired for depth.
All right, first up, sign number 1. It's all about how you think. If you're wired for depth, your mind is probably, well, it's never really quiet, is it? You're constantly analyzing things, looking for patterns, and asking why behind pretty much everything you see. Your thinking is naturally abstract and layered, which makes simple, surface-level info feel kind of unsatisfying. And this actually ties into a really cool psychological concept called desirable difficulty. The idea is that your brain doesn't just tolerate complex ideas, it actively seeks them out because that effort is satisfying. It's like a workout for your mind. And small talk, that's like being stuck doing the warm-up over and over again. Okay, let's move on to the second sign, which is all about the scale of your thoughts. Because of the way you think, you naturally find yourself wrestling with the big questions, right? Questions about purpose, mortality, and the big patterns and flaws of the world. You're constantly running these mental simulations, and that takes up a ton of cognitive energy. And that's why this quote just makes so much sense. When your mind is busy pondering the nature of existence, talking about your weekend plans can feel like a complete waste of your processing power. It's not about being rude, it's about cognitive efficiency. Coming in at number 3, this wiring fundamentally changes what you're looking for in your relationships. Oh, this is a huge one. You're not really looking for that broad validation that comes from being popular or having, a massive social circle. Instead, you prioritize a few deeply meaningful relationships where you can share real insights and build actual trust.
See, for you, conversation isn't just about trading updates. It's a tool for connection. It's how you build a stable sense of who you are and that quiet, unspoken trust with another person. It's all about understanding, not just being heard. All right, sign number 4 has everything to do with what your brain actually chooses to remember. You ever wonder why you can't remember someone's name like 2 seconds after they've told you? Well, it turns out your brain really struggles to encode what it sees as just arbitrary labels. It's designed to remember things that connect to a much larger network of knowledge or experience. And this is exactly why you crave substance. Information about a person's character, their story, their values. That's the kind of meaningful data your brain is built to grab onto and prioritize. It's not just random data. It's part of a much bigger picture. And finally, our 5th sign isn't found in conversation at all, but in silence. A lot of people who prefer deep conversations are also perfectly comfortable with silence. And let's be clear, this isn't loneliness. It's what's called chosen solitude. You use that quiet time to reflect, to reset, and to think clearly. You feel safe within yourself, so you don't feel that constant need to fill every single silence.
Okay, so we get the why now. The big question is, what do you do with this knowledge? How do you turn this wiring into one of your greatest strengths? Well, it really boils down to a simple 3-step process. First off, just acknowledge it. You are not broken, you're just wired differently. Second, reframe those negative labels people throw around. You're not antisocial, you're socially selective. And finally, embrace it. Use your capacity for depth to build incredibly powerful relationships and to see the unique insights that almost everyone else might miss.
Look, understanding how your own mind works is the first step to stop judging yourself and start using your unique traits to your advantage. So that really leaves just one final question. Now that you understand your wiring, how are you going to use it?